Okie dokie, boys and girls, another day, another workout. And today I was able to get up and down the stairs without any help of my hands again. I mean, it still hurts, but it just goes to show the pain is temporary, right? If you're doing something right now that sucks, whether it's training and it's very difficult, or it's studying, or it's just something that you don't want to do in general, it's temporary. The pain, the suckiness, it's going to go away and you're going to be left with a great benefit. But also those benefits, right? Not only pain, but also success is temporary. David Goggins, I think he said it in a podcast, but he mentioned like you're never standing still. You're either, regressing, or going upwards. You're improving or regressing. Basically one of those. You're never standing still. So pain is temporary, but success as well. So that means like for now, let's say I ran the 50 kilometers, right? But does that mean that my training journey is over? No, because if I suddenly were to stop running, if I suddenly were to stop training, then my body would, tear down, become skinny and weak again like it used to be. So there's two options, I can stop doing all of this shit, even though I love it, right? And basically become a worse version of myself, or I can keep training and become an even better version. But there is no in between. There is no staying the same. And every time I do a workout, every time I do something that sucks, what I at least try to do is think about it might suck now, but it's gonna be better once it's over. That's like with my quadriceps right now. In a few days, the pain will be gone. But also in a training, a set is hard. You just have to push a little harder. It goes for anything in life. So just remember, everything is temporary. Anyway, today we have a pull day. Now, I am still trying to watch out not to do too much to let my legs recover properly from the run. So I'm not gonna do my usual stuff, because if I do my usual stuff, I feel like I have this attachment to it. If I do the thin bar and the front lever holds, I do that all the time. So if I do it now, I kind of have a gauge of how strong I normally am, and it triggers something in me that I want to go for that. I want to push myself to go over that, which is good in most cases, but not when you want to recover, right? So to kind of control myself, to make things easier, I will use a different bar here. I don't really do sets on this, so I don't really have any expectations of myself, which will allow me to kind of just go for a lighter workout. It's still kind of the same stuff. It's still a front lever, that I'm gonna do. It's still gonna work my back muscles. It's still gonna translate, make me stronger towards my final goal, right? Which is the front lever 45-second hold. But it's just gonna allow me to have lighter workout. So today we have a holds and presses day, straight arm work, which is basically, if you were to translate it into the gym, you're doing your lat pull down, I think it's called. It's like a cable machine that you can pull down like this. That's what we're gonna do today, all the day. And also, because I'm in the front lever, right, I'm gonna need some retraction, which is, when you're in a row, you always need to kind of have some retraction, or in a deadlift, right, you always have some retraction. So the back is just being worked from all sides, and it's gonna be good for the gains. So without further ado, I'm gonna do a warm-up set here. Always warm up, especially if the movement is heavy on the joints, which the front lever is not, so I'm just gonna do one single warm-up set here, but you get what I'm saying. Alright. Let's first start with a bit of a longer set that goes until I feel a good burn, and then follow up with a couple lighter sets. All right. Whew. 30 seconds. We got a long way to go, boys. We got a long way to go, but that's why you should keep going, right? That's why you should keep going. Because if you don't keep going, that long way is never gonna be walked down. So, couple more sets here. All right. One thing I should maybe mention is that when you're doing front lever, right? Usually I use the thick bar for pull-ups and the thin bar for holds. Now this is because when you're using a thick bar, the range of motion in the pull-ups is a little bit less, making it a little bit easier. However, it also makes it more difficult to squeeze the bar when you're using a normal grip in the normal front lever. So for the normal front lever, I find it easier to use a thin bar because it allows me to put more force in my grip. So a bigger force in your grip is going to be an easier front lever. So that's why, that's kind of how I use both bars to do it. But hey, if you only have one bar, don't use it as an excuse for, oh, I can't do front lever pull-ups or I can't do front lever holds because I have a thin or a thick bar. No, you can train your holds and your front lever pull-ups on every bar available, So it's just something to keep in mind, if you want to hit a PR or something. A thick bar will help you to hit a PR on the front lever pull-ups. A thin bar will help you to hit a PR on the holds or the presses, those kind of things. So now I'm gonna play around with some more front lever sets. Close grip, wide grip, whatever. Just some light sets to get the blood flowing, but not damage my body too much. All right, let's do some pull-ups, some normal ass pull-ups as a final set, Normally I only do front lever because I truly believe you only need a front lever. But that's not to say that I dislike normal pull-ups, They all have their usage. For me, I just feel like, if you do the front lever press, you do the front lever pull-ups, your back is being trained in all directions it should be. But now, I'm a bit tired, I'm a bit drained from all the running in the last couple of days. And I just want to recover and I want to do some feel-good training. And the pull-ups are perfect for that because once you master the front lever, of course, pull-ups are going to feel very light, but that's precisely what I need right now. Like a light exercise that's going to allow me to get a stretch in the lat, because if there's anything that's lacking in the front lever, it's a stretch in the lat. Unless you do like raises from all the way from dead hang into the front lever, you're not going to really get a stretch in the lats. And I often skip those exercises. I don't often do the raise. So for me, I don't often get a stretch in my lats, but today it's going to feel very good. So I want to give it a go for a final set. So just some clean pull-ups, different tempos. I don't know, just until I feel a burn, and then we'll be good for today. All right. Whew. Let's check the pump and sit down and discuss. Okay, so these pull-ups, I'm not used to them, so I do feel them quite a bit differently than the normal foam lever. All right, yeah, that feels good. You know, getting a different stimulus once in a while, it's not a bad idea in general, so maybe I should do some normal pull-ups a bit more often, but that's like mainly when it comes to muscle building concerns, and I'm not necessarily concerned more about muscle building than building strength. My goal is to get as strong as possible at the foam lever, and just by eating enough, eating in a calorie surplus, I am able to put on muscle. So bodybuilding is not really my most important goal. It's just a side effect of getting stronger and eating enough, right? If I truly wanted to focus only on muscle building, I think I would do the pull-ups more often, because it's good to get different stimuli into the muscle, right? So you got your pull-ups like pulling from above, you've got your rows in the front lever, you've got your pull-downs in the front lever presses, right? You have all these different ways of training your muscle, and if your only one and only goal is, right, to build muscle, then I think it's a good idea to mix everything up. But anyway, that's it for today's training. Very satisfied as always. I mean, there is no bad training day if you're just doing the best you can towards your goal, right? And for now, that's doing a bit of feel-good pump stuff training. But nonetheless, right, it's very fun, and I can't wait until everything of lactate in my legs and whatever, every ounce of tiredness in my body is gone, and I'm just able to go hard on trainings again, to squat again, to go towards the planche and the full lever goals, all those things, right? I'm just looking so much forward to it, because like I mentioned in the beginning, right, you're only getting weaker or stronger. You're going backwards or forward in your training journey, in life in general. But that's also one of the reasons that it's important to really enjoy your training, right? Because if you're just enjoying your training and always looking forward to the next level, right, to the next training, to just doing training in general, then you don't really have to care about going backwards or forwards anymore, because you're always going to want to be going forward. You don't have to worry about that. Even on bad days, on days that suck, you're going to want to train, you're going to want to do stuff, and basically that worry kind of fades away, because if you truly enjoy something, right, you're going to want to work on it, and if you work on something, right, then you're going to improve. That's just how it works. The more you put in, the more you get out. Of course, there is, you have to be careful of the way you put it in. That's what she said. But you get my point, right? So, like, if you take a runner, for example, when you look at people and their race times, for example, for a marathon, like most fast people will run a lot in 1 week. They will have a high mileage, and the same is for calisthenics. When you see truly strong people, truly strong planchers and full liver athletes, right? These guys, they put in hours and hours and hours daily or weekly in the full liver and planche, right? When you look at me, I'm not elite by any means in any of the exercises I do. That's because I do a lot of different exercises. I have a lot of different areas that I'm putting my eggs in, right? I'm putting my eggs in different baskets. And that's why, I'm able to do lots of exercises, but also I'm not elite at any of them. I'm not elite at running. I'm not elite at any exercise. But you also have people who specialize in one thing. They put all of their effort in one thing, and they become insanely good at it. So, in training in general, if you make the basket bigger and you don't make it about one exercise but about training, if you put more effort in your training, right, you're going to be better at training in general. You're going to be more fit. You're going to be going faster towards your goal, right? And at the same time, if you slack off, that's like taking some eggs out of the basket. Suddenly the energy you're spending on training is now going into, going out for the movies, having some pizza, drinking some alcohol, going out for parties. That's also energy that you're spending, right? So that's kind of how you look at it. And the higher your level is in training, basically the more effort you're gonna need to just maintain that level, but also to even improve upon that. So it's easier to lose your level basically. But yeah, that's it for today's training. Whew. Today was a good one again. It was a bit of a special one. Usually we don't do these things, front lever holds on the fat bar, some normal pull-ups. So I quite enjoyed myself. And tomorrow, I hope tomorrow I'm gonna be able to do some squats. The soreness in my legs it's still there, but it's getting way, way, way better. So running hurts, but I'm almost back to my usual pace. So that's kind of the update there. So tomorrow, hopefully a leg day, and yeah, I'll see you when we get there.